Welcome to our series called Yay or Nay, where you get a say on common RV products and topics.
We're not only going to cover popular products such as your outdoor gear, your kitchen appliances, and accessories, but we're also going to cover subjects such as boondocking, RV memberships, payloads, weighing your rig, cooking in your RV, and more.
We'll give our yay or nay, and then we want you to share your opinion or experience so we can all learn together. My name's Aaron, this is my wife Chris, who is Irene, and let's get into today's episode. Okay, today we are going to be talking about slide toppers, and I am excited about this one because there are many different opinions on slide toppers, and I don't even know where I sit on this subject right now. Okay, the outline for these videos, which we're still kind of messing around a little bit, is we're going to do the pros, then the cons, and then kind of our personal yay or nay on this. And of course, we're giving our opinion and experience as full-time RVers, and everybody's gonna have a little bit different thought. So that's why we really wanna hear from everybody, and hopefully manufacturers are gonna be watching these as well and reading the comments and kind of getting different people's thoughts who have experience with this stuff or what they'd kind of like to see.
Yes, user feedback, which some people pay big bucks for.
True. Okay, we're gonna get right into the pros of it, which, the pro of a slide topper, it basically is attached to your RV and goes out over your slide as your slide moves out. And now you have this vinyl material over the top, kind of like awning material, that keeps dirt, debris, and water off of your slide topper.
Yeah, so the obvious first pro is just that. It keeps the debris off of your slide.
So we've actually had a slide topper on our current rig, which is about a year and a half old. It's a 26-foot travel trailer. We haven't had a travel trailer without a slide topper. We had the Sprinter van before, and obviously the Sprinter van doesn't have any slides, so no topper. So our experience is going to be with a slide topper for the past year and a half. And I'll say that it does an absolute great job of keeping stuff off. We've never had anything like sticks or leaves or debris. We've never had water leak into our slide. And honestly, I never check it, really. I don't climb up on top of the roof and go up there unless we're parked underneath a big tree or something like that where things are falling every single day. Then I do, of course, get up there.
So some people do get up every time and blow off their slide topper, or is that not necessary?
Well, the whole point, if you don't have slide toppers, is you have to get up there and blow off or sweep off the debris on top of your slide before you move your slide basically back in.
And if you have the topper, then you can just roll it in, and in theory, the debris just falls right off.
Yeah, that's the design of it, and from what we can see, it works perfectly.
Because we do not go up on the roof every time we pack up and leave.
So let's dive a little deeper into the rain and sun aspect of the protection of the slide toppers. Again, if anybody's had rain come in through their slide without a slide topper or with, I'd like to hear more about that. I have heard of people that don't have a slide topper. If you don't have your seal of your slide appropriately sealed tightly, or if it's stuck in the in position, you can get water inside, your slide. Which would be a nightmare. That absolutely would. But we've never had any issues, and we're kind of, we travel full time, so typically we don't stay in the really wet and rainy, snowy type of areas. We try to go where it's a little bit sunnier and nicer out. I mean, we see some rain, but we don't stay in like the Pacific Northwest or areas like that.
Yeah, if we do start to get in a period of really bad rain, then we'll generally try to run from it.
So on the sun aspect of it, I'm kind of curious how well the topper, there's a space between the top of your RV slide and the topper. If the sun's hitting that and absorbing all the heat, it's not, penetrating into your slide wall or the top of your slide wall. And, those are only like 1.5 inches or 2 inches thick. So if you didn't have a slide topper, do you feel the sun hitting on top of that and heating up the slide? We're sitting in our slide right now, and we have windows all around us on 3 sides. And if the sun was on this side, it would be kind of coming through this big window. And the slide areas can get hotter and colder because they don't have the insulation like what your roof does, where the roof is 5-6 inches thick. where our roof on the slide here is 2 inches thick.
So as a summary, a pro is sun protection to help maintain your inside temperature.
I think.
That's what we're saying.
So those are the basic pros of a slide topper. They're pretty straightforward. I feel like they do their basic job of protecting the top of your slide.
Yeah, it is a very short list, but it's a really important list. And it might not seem like a lot, but getting something inside your slide, gears, mechanisms while you're bringing it in and out could be catastrophic for your rig. So a short list doesn't mean it doesn't carry its weight.
Now on to the cons. For most travel trailers, this is an add-on, which means extra cost, which means extra weight, which also means extra maintenance long-term because these things are gonna deteriorate. They're made out of plastic and fabric, and they're not gonna last up, for 20 plus years.
So one more thing to worry about.
Yeah, we see a few old RVs that have these things just half ripped off, or some pretty decrepit slide toppers that people just chose not to spend the money to repair. Now, most high-end motorhomes have slide toppers built in, but in the travel trailer world, it's kind of like it's an option. So that's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. I wonder why it's so heavily like one way in motorhomes and another way in travel trailers.
Now, because these are made out of fabric, another big con is that they tend to sag over time. Some worse than others, where it's it's sagging down pretty good, maybe even touching the top of the slide. And that's usually from water pooling up, I would imagine. Or probably the worst con, which is wind in these slide toppers. Look at that wind out there. We got 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. Chris is trying to go running.
I don't want to go anywhere.
Oh man.
So I just folded up our chairs and put those on the ground, and I think I'm just gonna stay here because we'll wait for this to die down a little bit.
That is some insane wind out there.
Wind in the slide topper is definitely our personal number one con. If you get stuck in some windy areas, which there's definitely windy pockets of the United States, and we've experienced our worst wind in California and Nevada, those desert areas, it just rocks you. And when your slide topper is rattling all night long, it drives you to bring the entire slide in so you can get a good night's sleep.
We've had, I want to say, 2, maybe 3 really bad instances of this wind. And it's not just an afternoon. It could be like 2-3 days of this solid wind. And it's horrible. The slide toppers actually make like a rattling noise as well. So it's not just flapping in the wind, but there's the plastic part that holds onto the fabric, which is rattling.
Yeah.
And you can't sleep with that rattling. It's horrible, let alone sit here and work.
Not only is it like loud and disruptive, but I think it also adds a drama element where it creates such a noise that the wind sounds much worse than it actually is. So if you're getting a gust of like 20 to 35, which is actually a considerable gust, you're gonna feel mentally like your rig is gonna roll over and you're gonna just like be tensed up, and that happens all the time in high winds for us.
Yeah, I want to say like 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts are like where it really gets bad.
So some people do use a trick where they put a ball or a foam like noodle up in your slide topper to help prevent that from moving around. But as Aaron was saying, that might be actually causing some sagage in the long run, especially if you're stretching it too far and the sun is heating it up and you're getting that stretched vinyl, and then you have that sag to deal with.
Yeah, once you put a ball in there and blow it up, I would imagine like you'd always have to use that. And then it's just one more pain in the butt thing to have. So
we're setting up. We have to go put the beach ball in.
Yeah, and so you can see why these slide toppers are so controversial, because they have a lot of benefits that make a ton of sense on paper, and then they have some real use scenarios that are completely horrible to live with. And it might have to do with like where you do actually live, because in the desert Southwest, you don't get a lot of rain, you don't get a lot of trees, so you might not need slide toppers as much. And we've even heard of some dealerships saying they would never put slide toppers on their RVs down here because you just don't need them. But then again, does that sun protection come into play?
Yeah, another question is, do some people strategically place the slide toppers? Like maybe you use them, if you have a big rig, maybe you have them in your living lounge area, but you don't put them in your bedroom area. In case it does get windy, then you could pull in your living area and your sleeping area is just noise free. Maybe that's something that people consider.
Yeah, I have no idea on that.
That's getting a little complicated.
So one last thing I'll note is I just saw a video like a month ago that was talking about a company called True Topper that is making these slide toppers that are just made out of metal. It's like a flap. And so the side of your RV is like here. And as the slide comes out, the flap goes up. And so the flap is like kind of blocking your seal so no water gets in there. And then as the slide comes in, it pushes like everything out. This lifts up and it goes in, and then the flap goes down. It's a really ingenious design, and I think it makes a ton of sense because you get all the protection of protecting the seal from water. It pushes the debris off, but you don't have the fabric, so it's not sitting there flapping. I think it only works on some slides. So if you look at some slides, there's like a lip over top, which is where your slide topper goes to. So this is the top of the slide, and then the wall goes up a little bit. So obviously that wouldn't work because it would hit this little wall. So I don't know if anybody's ever used those, seen them. You look like I just spoke a foreign language.
I did not follow along with that one.
Blown away. I think it's an ingenious design. If we could get rid of the fabric, that's the problem. The fabric sags, the fabric deteriorates, the fabric makes the noise. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. If we can get rid of all that and still protect our seals and push the debris off, that's pretty cool. And it looks a lot better too.
Yeah.
Okay, with all that being said, Chris, now I'm gonna put you on the spot. Yay or nay to slide toppers?
This is a really tough one because I've only experienced one. I'm kind of biased because I have them currently, and I would have to say yay, just because I know that we're not up there checking the roof every time we leave, and that would be a really big step in our checklist. And we already have a big checklist of packing up, so that would be just kind of tough to get up on that roof
One more
every
thing
time.
to deal with.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yay, but it's not an all day hell yay type of yay. It's a yay.
I'm also gonna say yay, but I wanna see something new. I wanna see a new design. I wanna get rid of the fabric as well and have this more universal design come out for all different RVs. Still protect the seal from water, still protect the debris from coming in, but I don't wanna deal with the fabric and the wind. That's just absolutely horrible. The extra cost, the extra weight, and the extra maintenance. So I think they're great. I wanna see them, but I wanna see a better RV slide topper.
I like that answer. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for today's yay or nay. Please leave your yay or nay down below, your experience, your thoughts. Let's get some conversation going all about this topic, and we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next coffee talk.
That's copyrighted.
Is it?
I don't know. Hopefully not.